lyrics and the audio and the video quality is good. So in this video, it's been really long, right? So I'm gonna talk about what? Obviously, we're gonna talk about books, but before books, we're gonna talk about why or how to start reading, basically. Yeah, different kind of book genres, what you can do, um, ways to read, whatever, free apps, websites, basically all that. And basically by the end of this video, I'm gonna show you my current reads. It's been long because I was overloaded with assignments and assessments and internals and stuff like that, and as well as I was going through a reading slump. Okay, so I was finding ways to get into reading, but I couldn't. So the easiest option for me was to go and get audiobooks, and just finish it. And then so disappointing audiobooks have I come across, like as in like not disappointing audiobooks, like books that I did not read and I heard, right? And then I realized, thank God that I didn't read it, because listening to it was so horrible. Reading, yeah, there's certain books that shouldn't just be there. You're not needed, but it's there. We can't do anything. You know what I mean? Yeah, you know. Anyways, to begin with, let's talk about why we should be reading. Why should we? My phone. Sorry, it happens. Sorry. Why we should be reading? So we should be reading because why not? What do you mean? Like, why not? Like, see, people read books, books, like any book. And if they don't read a book, they definitely read something that we call articles, um, magazines, website news, or in a person's day-to-day life, he or she definitely, most definitely, does come across reading some or the other thing, whether it's reading something from Facebook, TikTok, da 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 da. So it depends on what you are looking for. And when you start like this, it grows. You start from little to reading a little, like 1 page, 2 page, 3 pages, then like 100 pages, then like 200, then it depends. It just goes. So it's just that. One thing we need to know is the understanding of what level and what genre are we considering. What are we loving? What is fun for us? Like, how am I supposed to say that, oh, I have been reading this, and ever since then I'm hooked. This is my fun time. This is what I'm into right now. Why not explore that? And then once you're done, shut it down, get to something else, okay? You go bits by bits. You don't need to just devour or consume all of it and be like, this new trend that's going on, haunting Adeline, or uh, the happy place, or people suggest books, and then we see that, and then we're like, oh, they're talking about it, let me go read it. What we don't do is that we don't do research. We don't see enough of the synopsis. We don't see the reviews, and then you end up picking that book, and then you realize, no, I didn't like it. That's not me. So why read something somebody told you? When you're getting into reading, read something you want to read yourself. And I'm not saying you shouldn't consider if somebody recommends you a book. Do consider it, but check the disclaimer, synopsis, reviews, research, get into it, see if that is the theme, the style, the writing you're into. And if you are, you should go ahead and, like, legit start reading. Like, what are you waiting for? So I'm gonna talk about what took me into reading, what made me, like, what was it? Nothing made me into reading. Nothing made me into reading. The whole conception, or the thing that I went into reading, was just because my best friend was reading, and then I was doing nothing. And then I was like, if she is reading and she has so many amazing stories to talk about, what am I doing? So I'm talking about my best friend Rika. She used to read a lot in high school. Oh my, she still reads a lot. But I'm saying that every time you never see her without a book. She always has a book. Like, my school library back then in Africa was like, it was like a small, like, staircase, go and shelf, chairs. It was like a small classroom kind of library. It wasn't like a library. And I bet she's read half of the books from that library. Like, she reads, my friend. Like, she can. And every time she finishes a book or something happens, she's always like, yeah, Tanya, this is the story. This is what happened. And I always get intrigued because, of course, like, she's reading. Like, what am I supposed to do? Like, it's so interesting. I want to. So for a long time, I didn't start reading later until COVID happened. Obviously, COVID happened. People had nothing to do except watching YouTube videos, learning to cook, or binge watching K dramas, Netflix, blah 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 blah, or reading, drawing, something. Exploring. That's what COVID made us do. Okay, in the tough times, we explored our lives, and if you did not, it's never too late. You still can. Okay, you can literally just go explore your world, like right now, if I tell you to. Because I have to explore painting, not painting, drawing. Because I realized I love drawing. I can draw, but I can't draw. Like, I can draw little things, but if I want to expand it to something, um, can you believe it? So, let me tell you what happened yesterday to me. What happened to me? So, I was studying, and basically my friend here, she had nothing to do. She draws, okay? She can do drawing. She drew this, I don't know if you can, this eye, okay? It took her a lot of time. Come on, it will. She was rubbing, doing it. She was even halfway through the lips. If I don't know if you can see it. And then the the lesson finished, and it was time for another subject. And this girl was like just squashing it down. And I was like, "What are you doing?" And she's like, "I want to throw it to the bin." And I was like, "Why would you do that?" And she's like, I mean, I can draw more like this. It's not a big deal." And yeah, it's fine. And I was disappointed. I was like, you know what? You should give it to me. Person like me, who cannot draw, needs to know the understanding, and she knows the meaning of drawing. So I just kept it. I'll keep it. The motivation that I should start doing something. Like, don't throw it, guys. Whenever you can draw even this much, and if you know that it's not good, it's really bad, then throw it. But if it's at least this much good, like, you know what I mean? Don't throw it. Keep it with you. Who's gonna? If you think that that's a lot of things that you're keeping and it's gonna become like a box of, you know what? I'll send you my email address and my number. Parcel it to me. Just send it to me. I don't know. Email it to me. I'll print it out and keep it. I don't want you to throw such things. Just don't do it. So, getting back to books. I think there's so many genres that are there for you to start reading. For me, when COVID happened, I started reading books like sci-fi, fiction, action, or stuff like that because I remember my dad one time by mistake got a book from Amazon. It got delivered to my place, and then I'm like, "Who bought this?" And then my dad was like, "Oh, it's a mistake. We can't return it now, so you gotta keep it." And I was really excited. I was like, "Oh my god, I got a book! My personal first copy book. It's like my dad bought it, so it's mine now. Okay, I have a book to myself." And then my uncle, he gave me some books that he couldn't read, and basically those were the classic books. So it's like there's New Sands of Time by Sidney Sheldon, and there was some other book, I forgot the name. I just yeah, but basically yeah, he gave me some books, and then I got some books from. So when I got this books when I was in India for my holidays, and in India there are certain places which is called like it's called, in my language, if I say, it's called kabari, where basically you get secondhand stuff. The man sells their everything, home utensils to books to newspapers to magazines to everything, or yeah, everything. So I saw this table full of stacks of books, and then there was this one book that clicked me a lot, which was called The Puppy Love, and obviously I'm gonna. So I got it, very cheap, guys, very cheap. So during COVID, those were the books that I was reading that made me intrigued. And then one book that my friend gave me by Daniela, still called Second Chance. So back then, I basically went into the genre of action because my dad's book, the mistaken book, was Assassin's Creed. I think that's action, right? And it was like, oh, should be action. Second was second was Puppy Love. Third was Second Chance. So obviously that's romance. And the one that my uncle gave me, which was The New Sands of Time by Sidney Sheldon, which was basically wartime set and history and a lot of. So that was like literature mixed with a little bit of um, psychological thingy because there were traumas in that book, messy things. This one lady, I just hated her and her way of thinking. I was like, you need help, girl. Yeah, people are sick. Yeah, my mom is sick. My dad is, she's sick. It's okay, it happens. So basically, for me, it was all mixed. Then later, my friend suggested me books like If the Shoe Meant to Fit You by Jodie Murphy, if I'm not wrong. I think, yeah, If the Shoe Meant to Fit You. It's a blue cover book. The author is blue. Sorry if she's not the author, please do correct me. But I think that. And then You Deserve Each Other by Sarah Hogler, and then Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter, and then so I read a lot of books, and then during that time I also read books like Everything I Never Told You by Celeste Ng, which is family trauma, um, a lot of, it's just, and then The Whisper Man. So I went into different genres. I didn't have a specific one, but what I discovered was I'm loving psychological and murder mysteries. So it's like basically anything with thriller, mystery, horror, psychological stuff, anything is my thing. The other thing, anything with sweet, simple romance genre is my thing. And then anything with literature, uh, which is what I call the secret history or epistolary books, which I can't think of right now. There's so many books I've read, are also my thing. But when it comes to dark romance or books like, yeah, it just shouldn't exist. Like I mean dark romance going with this other I just cannot contemplate what's the hype. But I do realize and understand that okay, that's your taste, that's your cup of tea. But I can't deal with a lot of smut, okay? Because yeah, I know that it's fiction, and I know you're supposed to take it as fiction, and for a moment you need to throw your brain, logic, and common sense out of the window. But there are times when I cannot think straight, when I need to be like, guys, this doesn't work, this doesn't. And then fantasy novels, which are really specific. So far, the only fantasy novel I've appreciated and liked is the series by Stephanie Garber, The Ballad of Never After, Once Upon a Broken Heart. One, two, yeah, that whole series of Jack and Evan Duane is the only fantasy book that I was really into. So, yeah, even fantasy books, they're not that much my cup of tea. So, yeah. So basically, as I said, it depends on what you are into. Some of you, most of you may be into a lot of smart and gothic literature and dark romance, then that's your thing. Then it's not that you should just be into it. What I'm saying and suggesting is that read it until you're tired. Read it until you're really tired, and then switch it to something else which you can love. Because what happens with me, there are certain authors which are really everywhere and talked and hyped, but those authors do not convince me completely. Like the writings cannot convince me. First, Humming Over, obviously. Second, Haruki Murakami. I just couldn't. The writing, like I have read books like The Convenience Store Woman, Kitchen, Almond. Like I've read books of it, but something with Haruki Murakami is really different, and that's a whole different story to catch. I'm not gonna talk about it right now. And then we have books that don't convince me, writing that does not convince me, fantasy, obviously, because I went into a lot of fantasy, and the only one I liked so far was Stephanie Garber's writing. Like, forget about the others. So, what I'm suggesting is read a lot, and then when you're tired with a specific genre or a thing, switch it to something else. And if you wanna change the pace of your reading, the style of your reading, get into audiobooks, okay, and listen to them, because then it will be so much better for you. I'm also not into LGBTQ literature and stuff like that, because yeah, those who ever know me, James Baldwin, Giovanni Tin Man, Swimming in the Dark. These are books, guys. How do you expect me not to like convince myself? But ta-da, that happens. So basically, one thing is that I don't think it's one. I said a lot of things. The other thing I would say is that if you start a book and you go through it and you start reading it, 5 pages in, 10 pages in, 20 pages in, you think that you're going nowhere and you're not interested, drop it. Don't close the book, leave it. Because then you're forcing yourself to read a book which is not tasting your wine. And then half of the time you're going to get pissed and bored. Why did you read it? Why did I? So don't do that, because then that's going to worsen your reading style, or it will worsen the way you want to get into reading. That's not the way you can. So basically, don't do that. And then, as I said, do a lot of research before you get into reading, because most of the time it happens my friends suggested do something and constantly picking you. And also I see that on my For You page, and then I'm like, oh, this is like everywhere, why not try it? And then I try it, and then it just doesn't work. So I suggest don't do that also. Like, do research. Do no, like, after the sequel history, people were like, no, don't do that. If you cannot, don't do it. Don't do it. So let's get into my current reads. So my current read is Not Senate Execution by Daniel Kukafka. So I'm not reading this book only, I'm reading and also listening to it, because I have a podcast. It's free on YouTube, guys, just go watch it. I mean, listen to it. Yeah. So, hand in hand, kinda intriguing. I can't understand why the criminal is thinking that what he's doing is good. But trauma. I think so. He had some trauma. And then the next read is going to be, I'm too late for this, and I know that there is a Netflix something coming on this, but then The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Yeah, I have to do that also. And then there's new stack of books coming next week, Tuesday. So that's a different video. But these are my current reads. And so far, as I said, I was into a reading slump, so I went into audiobooks, and I read books like, I have a list of it. I read books like Silent Patient, The Silent Patient, if you know who is it by, which for me, it was just, nah, not The Silent Patient. Like, the whole guy is such a psychopath. Although I'm not gonna talk about it, cause like, and then I read The Mexican Gothic, of course. I had the audiobook, guys. The Silent Patient audiobook. And then A Tale as Old as Time is by Liz Braswell. If you know, it's like a twisted series for Disney movies, which is fine, but Forget Me Not by Julie Soto, Bookish and the Beast by the author of 7 Years Later. I forgot her name. And then Swimming in the Dark. And then I Hope This Doesn't. The only book that I went into audiobook and I really loved was Swimming in the Dark, and most ardently remix of Pride and Prejudice. So Swimming in the Dark and Most Ardently are the only 2 books from the audiobooks that I loved. And then the rest is a history. No. So see, it happens. It just happens. So this was for today's video. We're gonna meet soon in the other video, and we're gonna catch up. into more details. And before I get into the closing, what's up with the movie coming up? It ends with us by Colin Hoover. By the way, it has two. There's a second part of it. So imagine the second movie coming in, and then Blake Lively lives into it. You know, at this point of time, I'd rather tell you go watch The Idea of You, Anne Hathaway, and Nicole Galitzine. If I'm saying it right, go watch that. But yes, that's coming up. There are certain things you're not supposed to touch on yourself, like the book where the Crawdad sing, and then the movie. Who told you to do that? But people think they can, so that's the end of my video. I think I gave a lot of reviews. Like, share, and subscribe, people. You guys, you need to, okay? You have to. If you want more of this in me, you have to.
No, I don't think you understand. I'm obsessed.